There's talk of the tournament and changes potentially. Obviously, the attendance was through the roof and record-breaking, viewership record-breaking.
Right.
You've played at home the last couple of years. You've won and you've lost.
Sure.
Do you think it's the right format, having top 16 host, knowing that you've seen both sides of it in a way?
You know, selfishly, I'm going to say yeah. You know, I really, there's something about, you know, it's just a goal of ours every year is to want to be able to host and play in front of our crowd. And I think a lot of that has to do with Doug. You know, we've been building this thing, and part of the build has been because of our fans. And so it's always been important for us to have that as a goal, but it's for us, but it's also for Hoosier Nation to be able to come and watch us and support us. I do think that there is an advantage. There's no doubt about it. But you know, for us right now, a program that's drawing a crowd like we do, I think it's really good for our game as we continue to try to grow it.
Yes, right here.
Yeah, Chloe Peterson, Indy Star. Coach, obviously you guys have a tall task in Camila Cardoso, who's 4 inches taller than Mackenzie. Just what's your game plan for her, or how are you going to try to limit her?
Well, it's just not her. I mean, it's, you know, they're, like I said, they're loaded with talent, but, you know, I think you try to crowd her. You know, you're not going to keep her from scoring. She's too talented for that, and this is too good of a basketball team. They intentionally find ways to get her the ball, and so I think you have to try to do your work early and try to keep her away from the rim as well as you can. But I also think it requires help from others, you know, whether that's doubling, digging, just trying to crowd her as well as we can.
Hey Terry, Chantel Jennings
Hi.
with The Athletic. South Carolina is obviously a very good team, but specifically in the first half, like they have an ability to jump out first and like build that momentum. Is it just about like stringing together stops on the defensive end? Like, how do you stem that?
I think it's both. You know, I think you have to string together stops, but I also think you have to score. You know, we're not unlike any team in the country that really feeds, you know, our offense feeds us defensively. And so when we can put points on the board, that helps us, you know, on the defensive side with our, not just our intensity, but I think, you know, the connectedness that you have to play with in order to guard a team like South Carolina that has so many threats, you know, on the outside. So I do think you got to string together some stops, but you certainly got to put points on the board too, or he can get away from you really quick.
Coach Moren, Mike Vogel from ESPN.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talked about, obviously, you come into a game like this, at least from the outside, you guys are the underdog here against the undefeated team. Can you use that to your advantage at all going into a game like this? Because you don't have a lot of those games anymore because you guys are such a good program that it is a little bit like a little different mindset sometimes going against a team that hasn't lost.
Well, you know, as I said to our kids, I think yes, we're the underdog, but I think everybody else except for South Carolina right now is the underdog, you know, because of their perfect record. I don't know that anybody believes that South Carolina can be beat. So, you know, you can certainly use that. Like I said, our kids, as I mentioned earlier, you know, they read, you know, they know that we are not expected perhaps to win this game, but does that fuel them? I hope it does. I hope it motivates them. I do think there is an aspect of that you can use it to your advantage. You're playing with house money. You have nothing to lose. And you know, I just want our kids to come in and play loose and together, which they have throughout the season. And again, just put forward our best effort because we know it's going to take a great effort.
Hi, over here. I just want to ask a question about one of your players, Yarden Garzon. I thought I read last year you said in 30-plus years of coaching, she's the most mature first-year player you'd ever seen. I'd like you to talk to that a little bit now that we're at the late end of the second year and given so much that's happened off the court for her, what she's like as a person and how she's developed, and also what her potential and development are player-wise. Well,
first of all, she is uber mature. And, you know, she has had a, you know, difficult, when I say difficult, it's been a tough year for Yarden with everything that's going on over in Israel right now, and it's continued to go on. And so she has continued to show great maturity. Her parents have been over to Bloomington a few times, I think, to offer their support because she knows how hard it's been. They know how hard it's been on Yarden, but she is competitive. She is still, I think, getting used to the work that's required at this level. Not that she doesn't work, when she plays at home in Israel, but the practices are a little bit longer in duration. Strength and conditioning, all of that's different. Everything that we have over here that they might have over there, but not to the extent that we have. And so the training for her has been something that she's had to get used to. She's continued to improve for us. We talk a lot about Mackenzie in the last game, but we had other kids that stepped up, but Yarden probably hit the biggest shot to give us the room to put us up by 4 there going down the stretch. She is made for moments like that. She is not afraid of taking a big shot, and that's what I've always loved about her and we've respected about Yarden. She's very quiet by nature. She's a great teammate. She's intelligent on and off the floor, understands the game. You can play her at 1 through 5, which makes it kind of fun for a coach. Terrific young lady. Great to have her, that we have her in our program. Somebody that's going to continue to improve and get better.
Yeah, Terry, Mike Nyzak from the Herald Times. How are you? You played South Carolina in 2019. Only player for either roster still here is Mackenzie. But what's the through line with Dawn's teams that you see when you scouted her when you scouted South Carolina back then, and now? What do you kind of see as sort of the baseline of a South Carolina team under her?
Well, they're completely different than they were in 19. When we played them. What she's done is they've always been a very, very good defensive team. What they've added is shooters. When we played them in 19, I felt like we played off, really off the arc. Tried to bottle up Boston as well as we could. She's added some shooters from the outside. So that's been, to me, what's changed. But then now you look at some of the other pieces she's added. Fluwali, who just is incredible, dynamic, up and down the floor, fast, speed-wise. Cardoso obviously is a little bit bigger than Boston was. She's just added some shooters, which has made them more, even more difficult to guard because you really can't sit in the paint and try to, clog it up. You've got to respect those Bree Hall and Pow from the outside.
I have time for one more right here.
Coach, I don't want to really bring up any bad memory, but you talked about last year. So it was tough, emotionally tough. You guys won the Big Ten regular season, but every program as it grows goes through the heartbreaks and the good times. What do you think you as a coach and maybe the program, after you sort of process that, got from it in terms of then coming into this year and it didn't happen again?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that question. It took us a while. That was a tough one to get over, especially how it ended. I think you have to remind yourself, and you got to remind your players that one game couldn't define the season that we had because it was incredible. And I think we were most heartbroken for Berger, because we couldn't get her, back to the Sweet 16. And so, I think the disappointment was there for her mostly. But, it certainly fueled this group. Sid's talked about it. Mackenzie's talked about it, that last game, not wanting it to end like it did a year ago. And we knew that, everybody was going to have a little bit more experience. That was Sarah's first season in Bloomington and Sid's first season in Bloomington. So it was really a new team, although we had, the holdovers of Berger and Mackenzie. Yarden was a freshman. Chloe had to play. We moved her to a different position. So, You know, the experience, though, as you mentioned, you know, adversity gives you a lot. You know, it's just not, you know, about failure. It's about growth too. And so I thought our program, even though it was we took another, we did take another step. But I certainly think that the memory and of what happened a year ago really has helped us. You know, going down the stretch with Oklahoma.
Coach, thank you
Yep,
very much.
thank you, guys.
Good luck. Student athletes, momentarily. Thank you. We now want to welcome the South Carolina student athletes, and we'll take questions. I'm sorry, Indiana, apologies. Long day, just beginning. Yarden Garzone and Chloe Moore McNeil join us from Indiana, and we'll open it up for questions. Right here.
Hi, Pat Eaton-Rob from the Associated Press. Coach was saying, obviously, you guys watch basketball, you read the papers, you know what South Carolina is and is expected to do in this tournament. So how do you come into this in terms of feeling no pressure, feeling like, you know, you have nothing to lose, or do you feel a little bit more pressure and you want to kind of show people who you guys are?
Yeah, we really don't feel any pressure at all. We know everybody expects South Carolina to win. I mean, they're a great team, and obviously they're undefeated, but it's March Madness, so you kind of have to throw all those things out of the window and just focus on yourself and winning.
Yeah, I think we focus on ourselves, what we need to do coming into this game, and we're going to bring our best.
Other questions? Yes, right here.
Yeah, Mark Singalis from the Albany Times-Union. Chloe, while they're undefeated, they would have a loss if Cardozo doesn't bank in a 3 at the buzzer against Tennessee in the SEC tournament. You probably saw that highlight.
Yeah.
Can you look at a game like that and think, yeah, they're great, but they're not, untouchable?
Obviously, you see things like that on social media, but I think, yes, they are a great team, but any and everybody is beatable in the NCAA tournament.
Yarden, having to play a basketball season while everything is going on at home, can you discuss what that's been like for you? Have you had to deal with, protests and worrying about family and that kind of thing? And can you talk about how your teammates have supported you?
Yeah, so it's obviously hard with everything going home with my family, friends, serving in the IDF. But my teammates and the staff doing a great job of supporting me. They understand what I'm going through, and they give me great feeling about being here and feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself, and they are here for me for everything I need. Everything I do right now is trying to raise the awareness about what's going on in Israel. With the hostages, I have like this necklace, and let's say that bring them home, and I'm trying to put it everywhere I can on my social media, in the press conference. So yeah, I have great support from the team, and I'm happy to be here.
Other questions? Go ahead.
For both of you, obviously South Carolina goes 10 deep, and they have a lot of players who can do a lot of different things. What is the biggest focus for you on, which poison do you pick to try to stop without giving away, obviously, the entire game plan you have? But how do you attack a team like this?
Yeah, I think they're pretty well balanced in scoring. Any of them can have a great night offensively, but I think our main focus is not giving up second chance, making them take tough twos, and obviously limiting our turnovers and bad shot selection.
Yeah, I think being aggressive and give everything we can on the court. Obviously, execute the game plan will be a big part of the game, and be aggressive is the main thing of this game.
Yeah.
Austin Render, IU Sports Radio Network. Chloe, how important is it for you and Mackenzie to have the experience of having played in the Sweet 16 before that you can kind of share with some of the others on the team that haven't had this experience yet?
Yeah, I think it's really important and big, and we're grateful that we have that type of experience. I remember my freshman year coming in, when we advanced to the Elite Eight, we were like the number 8 seed against the number 1 seed, NC State. So just, staying level-headed and being confident within ourselves and our capabilities, and just playing IU basketball.
I'd like to ask both of you about Coach Moren, the impact that she has had developing you as a person as well as a player. And let's start with Yarden.
So Coach Moren brought me to this program as a kid that didn't grow up in US. I barely knew English that much. She brought me in with open arms. She taught us everything she can, and she keeps bringing the best out of us. I think she's doing a great job with this program. From all of these years, our fans base is getting bigger every year, and I'm glad that I'm able to be coachable by her.
Great. Chloe?
Yeah, Yarden said it perfectly. She brings out the best in all of us, whether it's the staff or us as team players. I think she's somebody that, since I've been here from the jump, she's instilled confidence in me, and she's always told me how much she's believed in me. And I think she's done a great job of not only developing and growing people as players, but the fan base as well.
Great, thank you. Further questions? Yes, right here.
Chloe, can you describe maybe just some of the things that have changed about the interest in women's basketball since you got to college?
Yeah, for sure. I think I came in freshman year with COVID, and obviously that was a big jump from comparing that to now. Our fans were non-existent. We had to have posters and cardboard cutouts of people's faces, so it was a little bit odd to be in an atmosphere like that. But then when you look fast forward to now and people breaking records, teams breaking records with fan attendance, it's just amazing to watch, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
One more, anybody? Okay, thank you, ladies, and best of luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
Next will be South Carolina starting at 2:30, and a reminder, all news conferences will be recorded here on site by Hammond Communications and provided via the NCAA Digital Hub site. All the news conferences are provided via our live stream. Thank you, media.